What's up guys, my name's Seth, you're watching Petrol 360. In today's episode, we're going to take a normal beach cruiser and turn it into something awesome. Alright guys, so if you watched my other video where I build a board track racer style bike out of a regular beach cruiser, we're kind of doing the same thing today as you can see, but this one's going to be pedal powered. So I apologize, I actually lost the footage for the beginning of this video, so I don't have the video where I made a mount to hold the bike up and started mounting the bike into the frame fixture that I kind of made. So yeah, this build's going to be pretty simple. Like I said, we're just going to lengthen the bike out and modify the frame so it looks like the old board track racer style, and we're going to add the logo and everything in there as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump in the video where I started. I had the bike frame mounted up in the fixture, and we're about to cut into it so we can modify it. So here we go. Alright, so the next step in our process is actually take measurements off of this thing so we know how to put it back together whenever we lengthen it with the different tubes. So to do that, I have an angle finder. This is a digital angle finder. It is magnetic, so we can get the measurements of these, the seat tube and the head tube. Obviously a level or a plumb bob might work too. Measuring tape, and hope you're good at drawing because you need a way to write all this stuff down, because I'm not going to remember. Alright, a few minutes later, I think I've got everything I need to be able to replicate. So we've got the degrees, the seat tube and the bottom tube, how far away it is from the rear axle, everything. I'm taking all this notes because we're cutting out everything in between, and we're going to slide the front of the bike forward because most of the board track racer bikes had a longer wheelbase, so we kind of want to make this look correct. So I'm probably going to bump this forward about 5 inches or so, and with all of this information I should be able to disconnect, slide forward, reconnect with the correct tubes and go from there. So next step, we are going to take out the bandsaw and chop, 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 clean it up, disassemble everything, throw it in the sandblasting cabinet so we can get some bare steel so we're able to weld with. So cut to that. Alright, a little bit of grinding and disassembly later. This is what I have. This is all of the bike frame that I need. Got the head tube, got the rear triangle, and we're going to build our own tubes in between. So one thing I did actually run into here was there is a hole in the frame where those two, I guess, bottom tubes went. So I will have to fill this up with a MIG welder. Not that big of a deal. I don't think my skills are good enough to be able to TIG weld that, and I also cut into this a little bit again. Hit it with the MIG welder, grind it down flat and get it, try to smooth out. So if any of you guys are worried about me cutting up an old bike, don't worry, because this was an AMC bike. So, or AMF, excuse me, AMC. Yeah, it's made by AMF, so probably completely worthless. I probably wasted my $50 buying it, but hey, I'm gonna make it into something cool, so it's probably worth it in the end. Alright guys, went ahead and got the bike actually mocked up in the jig here. So what I did was Followed all my measurements. I've got this set. It's set at the same angle. It is centered on the center board, and it has the height that it needs to be from the crank off of the ground. Then I moved the head tube forward about, what did I say? I moved it forward 5 inches. This is set at the exact same angle that it was. It's centered left to right, and they're both parallel this way, so they're both sitting at 90 degrees. So they are perfectly in line. So from here, we can start going ahead and cutting some tubes and bending them up and seeing if we can connect the two back into one again. So. Alright, so we got our first tube up in the bender here. We're going to look to get, I think, 32 degrees. We'll definitely check our drawings again before we start bending. But we're zeroed out here and we'll just start bending away.
Alright guys, well the actual frame of the bike is finished. As you saw, we got all the pieces mocked up and tacked in place, but I went ahead and used the TIG welder to TIG them in place, but some of my gaps were too large, so I ended up MIG welding over all my TIG welds and then filling the gaps with MIG welds. So it's technically MIG welded together. It's not what I want to do, but it's what works. So you know, sometimes you got to cut your losses and get stuff done, but definitely learned a lot. So we're still not done yet. We're going to build our plate here, and then we're hopefully going to add some more little pieces. So next up, we're going to make a template so we can cut out our plate to go right here, our faux gas tank, right? Yeah.
just like that, we have a completed bike. So next we're gonna tear this down and get it all painted up, but I'm not gonna film that. We're just gonna go ahead and do it. So let's get to it, bud. And here we go. So I went ahead and told you guys I wasn't gonna take you through the paint process, so gives me more time so I can focus on a little bit. For this one, I decided to go with green. I was bouncing back and forth with a lot of colors, but I think this actually looks really good. The main thing was the actual logo here. It took me a while to get it right. It's really hard to tell from this video, but I've got other clips kind of shows that's gold leaf underneath there. And my idea was to do gold leaf behind the logo. I wanted to do that with the other bike, but it just didn't work out. So this time I tried again, and again I failed at it, but it actually turned out really good. It looks really good and rustic. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and patina the bike a little bit. The wheels and the chain and the handlebars and the seat, they all have a nice look to them. The bike itself looks a little too clean, so we'll just rough up some edges, add some grease, make some, make it dirty in the spots it needs to be, just to look right. It looks a little too clean right now. So the bike stand works out really well. It sits up there really nicely. It holds the bike up great. It looks really cool. It was much harder to make than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to need to get a bender to be able to bend this rod a little bit easier. So doing nice clean bends. I didn't show that process because it was very frustrating, but it took a lot to get this, and it's still a little cockeyed. So, but it's first attempt. It's always a learning experience, but it turned out really nice, and I'm pretty stoked with it. So if you guys like the bike, give this video a thumbs up. And if you didn't, tell me why. Tell me what you want to see next time. But if you like seeing this kind of stuff, I just like piddling around and playing with little stuff. And for whatever reason, I like old vintage bikes. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks, guys.